Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Studio One Community Access TV. My name is Doug Goodman, and for the next half hour or so, we're going to bring you up to date on what's happening in our Marshall Public Schools. And with me once again is our superintendent of those Marshall Public Schools, Scott Munson. Welcome, Scott.
Hey, thanks, Doug. I appreciate being here.
It's great to be back again, and of course this is Tiger Talk, which is shown on Charter Channel 180 and VAS 17. So it's played continuously throughout the next 2 weeks or so, and then we come back in another couple weeks and tape another show. So it's a way to keep you in touch with what's happening in our Marshall Public Schools. And today's feature guest will be on a little bit later. We're going to talk just briefly, and we're going to introduce you to our top-notch Marshall School District technology team. That's going to be exciting, isn't it?
I think it will be. We've got several of them sitting in the back room kind of smirking at us, so back of the room, but looking forward to getting them on here and talking about technology a little bit and all the things that they're involved in, and just give everybody an update about technology direction and things that are going well, and certainly challenges also relative to technology. So looking forward to that.
Well, sounds great. We want to continue to encourage you to watch Tiger TV and watch Tiger Talk, because we cover a lot of different things throughout the school year, from technology to what's our legislators doing, to school safety, to facilities updates, just a number of different things that we really believe you as viewers in our public want to keep updated on what's happening with our Marshall Public Schools. So with that, I'm going to take a little break here, let Scott take over, and bring on those people who are sitting in the back of the room, because they all look kind of nervous and excited and all that good stuff. So we want to encourage you to continue to watch. So we'll be right back. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Scott Munson, Superintendent in the Marshall Public Schools. Welcome back to Tiger Talk Television. I have the privilege and the pleasure to have several of our technology staff members here today who are going to introduce themselves and talk about some of the great things happening relative to technology in the Marshall Public Schools. We have kind of a funky microphone setup, so we'll do our best and encourage folks to yell, especially those of you in the back row, but it'll go great. So Amanda, if you would want to just start out and tell our audience who you are, what you do, and how long you've been in the district. You and I have had conversations before about different topics, but if you want to just update everybody, that would be great.
I'm Amanda Grenager. I'm currently the Director of Teaching and Learning for Marshall Public Schools, and I also oversee the Technology Department. And I have been in Marshall since 1999.
My name is Todd Pickthorn. I'm the District Network Services Coordinator for Marshall Public Schools. My primary job responsibility is the IT management and setup of the network for Marshall Public Schools. I've been in the district as the same as Amanda for 16 years, so thank you.
Awesome.
My name is Karen Lundgren. I am the District Technology Integration Specialist, and I'm the new one on the team. I've been here since July.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm Nick Esping. I'm the District Computer Technician, one of them. The other one's not here. He's Kent Powell. I help students and the faculty with their computer problems. I've been here for a little over a year. Thanks.
I'm Nancy Tuff, Library Media Specialist. I've been in the district since 2001. I work at both the high school and the middle school.
I'm Kaya Johnson, and I just moved to Marshall and to the district at the beginning of the school year, and I'm the media specialist at Parkside and Westside.
Thank you. Amanda, and you can hand the baton off, so to speak, to anybody that you'd like to, but tell us why technology is important. And everybody sort of has an understanding of that, but it might be a little different. So where are we coming from as a school district? Why is technology important?
Well, you see our community and everything that's happening in our world is changing. It's becoming more technology focused. So we want to be sure that we're providing our students with the knowledge and the skills that will prepare them for their future. And the media specialists will understand this. We also want to make sure that we are creating lifelong learners and teaching them the skills that they'll need to become lifelong learners, and the technology really helps with that. There are also other things that we find encouraging and exciting about technology, and one of those is just student engagement and making sure that our students are engaged while they're in class And this is their world. This is how they communicate. This is what they're used to and familiar with. So having those with them in class, I think, is something that is going to provide them with a reason to be engaged and to help them be better students and be more successful.
Anyone else want to kind of add their perspective to that? Why are we doing what we're doing when it comes to technology in MPS?
I think these tools do a good job of providing the students with anytime, anywhere learning. They can take this with them, learn at any time, anywhere. I think that's a great way these are helping the students.
Sort of expand the classroom walls and like you said, give students access to learning, not just during the 8 to 3 o'clock school day. I think that's sort of what you were saying, Todd?
Yep.
Anybody else?
I just think a comfort level too for the workforce. When you move into the workforce, you're going to have all kinds of technology these days, so we're helping them become more familiar with the technology tools that are available in the world today.
We're trying to change that climate of students powering down when they come into school. We want them to be able to use the tools that they're familiar with while they're in the classroom.
So let's transition into that a little bit. We have a 3-year, one-to-one mobile device deployment plan. Tell us a little bit about that, Amanda and others. Tell us what we've done, where we're at, and where we're going.
We had, our first year, we had 4 grade levels that received a device. And in preparation for that, we had to work a lot on our processes and our procedures to help with that transition, because there's a lot of things that go into providing those devices. You just can't hand a device to a student and say, here you go. So we had to work closely with our staff and our administration in developing our digital learning handbook that kind of summarizes all of our procedures and processes around the device. But we also had to prepare our teachers with professional development. So there's been a lot of things that we've had to work towards to make this transition successful. And we're not there yet. We're still in the process, because we are in year 2 right now. We have 8 grades who have devices. And if someone asks you, is there a big difference between 8 and 4? Yes, there are. There was a lot more devices to hand out in the fall, and there's just a lot more devices for the team to take care of and manage and troubleshoot and help students figure out how to use them and help teachers understand how they can be used in their classrooms. So we're still working on that, but we're making good progress.
So when you say year 1, that was last year, the 2014-15 school year, and you mentioned 4 grades. What grades were we implementing one-to-one devices in?
Last year was grades 1, 5, and 9, 10. And then this year it is grades 1 and 2, 5 and 6, and then 9 through 12.
Okay.
And so next year, 16, 17, all students in grades 1 through 12 will have a device. And then our kindergarten students use the cart model, so that every teacher eventually will have their own cart where each student will have access to a device.
And do our students take these home with them? So Todd, you have an example of a device that we have deployed in different grades, and you can talk about that if you want to, but what's the deciding factor in terms of if our students take them home or not?
We really leave that up to the building teachers and administrators, and so it varies. Currently, our grades 1 and 2 do not bring them home, but our grades 5, 6, and 9 through 12 do. And when we bring the devices to Westside next year for grades 3 and 4, that'll be a decision that we'll work with the teachers and the administrator, kind of talking about the pluses and minuses of why we should bring them home, and maybe it's not every night that they take them home, but when they need to take them home. It'll be interesting to see how it goes.
General thoughts. Todd, what do you think?
Yeah, we do have basically 3 different devices that we're working with right now. iPads in the elementary, K1, 2. In grades 5 and 6, actually grades 5 and 9 through 12, we're using this Lenovo ThinkPad, which is a tablet that folds around to be either like an iPad style or a regular notebook style machine. And then in grade 6, we're using a HP device that is very similar to this.
And how would we say this has gone? What's gone well? Let's talk about that. I think a lot of things have gone well. And in fact, last week when I was grabbing a bite to eat about, I don't know, I think it was 8 o'clock at night, one of our students was working, accessing the free Wi-Fi where we're at and doing some homework. And I was, wow, that was pretty cool. But what's gone well for us?
Do you want to start, Todd?
Yeah, I think, just the overall process from the ordering to the imaging to the allocating to the distribution, multiple steps needed to fall into place in order for us to have a successful deployment. And I think all of those things combined and went well for us in the fall. We were able to distribute, it was about 1,650 devices in the fall. So a lot of devices needed to be gone through and processed that way. So
We were tired.
yeah, I think it went well.
It did. It went
Yeah.
really well. I also think the professional development has gone well with the staff. We do multiple surveys throughout the year to identify areas of need and what they would like to see us giving them training on. Plus, we just know from reading and research what we should be presenting to them. And Vera Weber before, Karen did a great job, and now Karen has taken over and doing a fabulous job in that area too.
So what types of professional development have we been focusing on or looking at? And Karen, if you want to address that, that'd be great.
Sure. Well, currently, a lot of the focus has been on Schoology, which is our learning management system, and getting teachers trained and just up and going with that. It's a process. It's not something that you're going to take an entire course and just dump it on there and go with it. So it's a process that I'm working with staff to get through. As well as we've been working on some other technology pieces that kind of go along with that, working with students on their email accounts and their Office 365 accounts has been a big piece of it. Working with staff on their OneDrive accounts as well, getting that all integrated together.
And when you talk about students and developing their comfort level, we kind of need to do the same thing with many of our staff members who, admittedly, some are advanced and feel really comfortable, and it's like, give me the instrument and let me go. And others are like, how do I turn it on? I mean, I would imagine you see a whole range of things. So having the integrationist piece and someone who can help us, help staff understand what's going on, I think is really been valuable. And just, again, helping our staff become more accustomed to that has been beneficial. What do you see in terms of challenges and problems when you get a phone call or you get an email? What are some of the things that you and Kent see, Nick? What's most common?
We see a little bit of everything. As for student devices, a lot of them are dropped or, little things like that, cracked case here and there. But we don't really see anything super major. Some kids have connection problems, but for the most part, it's a lot of warranty issues, so we can send them back and get them fixed. It's no cost.
Sure. And when you talk about connection challenges, it seems like our infrastructure in our buildings has held up pretty well. That's my impression. Thoughts on that? And I guess when we talk infrastructure, we're talking about the ability to access Wi-Fi in all of our buildings and hopefully from every location. Todd, that's a major focus of yours, I know.
Yeah, I know we've built up our infrastructure preparing for our one-to-one rollout, and we actually have a fiber connection to each one of our buildings with a partnership with Marshall Municipal Utilities. So that has really been beneficial for us because we can measure that bandwidth and add more if we need to all of our sites, and then integrate all of our systems so that our wireless looks the same no matter which building you're in, and that really makes it easy for people to work with it. And I know that we did have a wireless survey done before the rollout, and it's been tested with a number of devices, and it's held up pretty well. So.
Yeah, if you throw 1,600 plus devices on the infrastructure or whatever they're called, that can be challenging, and that is not something that I've heard that's been a challenge. Let's talk about challenges. You touched on kids dropping the devices, and that stuff happens. We know that. What else are we seeing in terms of challenges from either students or staff? Amanda, you're smiling, which isn't unusual, but what's on your
We
mind?
had a challenge with some math curriculum that we implemented at the high school. It was our first full rollout of an interactive student workbook in 3 courses that we had out at the high school. And unfortunately, we struggled pretty much from the day one of trying to use this product with Karen's help and Todd's help and Nick and Kent, trying to make sure that it wasn't on our end and trying to identify issues that could be happening on our end, working with this company's tech support. We just were never able to resolve the issues that we really feel like it was a product that wasn't ready for the market. And so we've been in negotiations with the company trying to come to an agreement of what our next steps are. So that was really disappointing to have our first attempt of a interactive student workbook not go as smoothly as we had liked. We did have 2 other companies though that we worked with that also had math curriculum at the high school, and those did go well. They're smooth, beautiful, teachers love it, kids like it. So it can happen. It just, I think we got a bad product that wasn't ready for market, and we feel like we've provided that company with a lot of suggestions and a lot of ways to make it better for the next school district that chooses to purchase it, but we're ready to try something else.
So we're not to the no textbooks stage yet, district-wide.
No, and I do think it'll be a transition. I do believe that parents, students, and teachers at times still need that textbook. I mean, there's going to be times if a student knows that they're not going to have Wi-Fi access at home for whatever particular reason, they can still take a textbook home. We do have other alternates too, alternative routes for them to get a electronic book, but there's still something to be said about having that at this point until we know that all students have Wi-Fi access at their home, and I don't know when that'll happen.
And there's been some discussion about how the school district might be able to help with that. Tell me what those are called again. I know you've...
Hotspots?
Hotspots, yeah. Would we ever look at hotspots to check out for students who don't have internet or maybe reliable internet at home or don't have access to that during non-school hours? So I know that's, from what I understand, something that's been discussed and maybe a direction that will go.
Right. When we first went in this direction with the one-to-one, we looked at student surveys and parent surveys, and it really looked like the majority of our parents, like 98%, were saying they had Wi-Fi in their home. As we've been rolling out the one-to-ones, we are realizing that that probably isn't an accurate number. And so we did start looking at hotspots even last year, and it's kind of a cost issue. It's something we need to budget for. So we're really looking hard at that right now, and hopefully we'll be able to come to some resolution. But I know that media center hours have been extended for students after school to stay longer. There's the public library. We try to provide CDs on books if it's available from the vendor, so that they can just pop it into any computer that has a CD-ROM drive. So there are a variety of other ways that students can access that, but obviously the best way is if they could do it with Wi-Fi.
So still working on that, but certainly some positive steps have been taken in terms of that. Other challenges that we faced, or things we've learned, or things, if we could hit the rewind button and go back a year or two, maybe we do different.
I know for us, it's been a lot of new technologies that we're learning along with these devices. So just keeping up with the pace of learning new things. There's a new iOS update to the iPads that came out in September, right after we had rolled them out, and learning those new features and functionalities. So, just keeping up with the technology change has been a challenge. But
I think we continue to refine our deployment process too. Every time we do it, we learn a few things and we get better at it. We've made some mistakes, but we learned from our mistakes, so we try to make it better the next time.
That's good. That's what we need to be doing. How about future focus areas for us relative to technology? And maybe we've already touched on a few of those, but what might this look like in a year or two?
It's a great question.
I think one of the tools that we're using, and we're just kind of scratching the surface at this point, is our Schoology platform that really kind of helps shape that classroom so that they can work more at home and do some different things within the within the school day, so that it can kind of extend out to those days. And we'd like to try some some innovative things with that, so that we can do that flipped classroom type technology.
Awesome. How about final thoughts? Anything that any of you would like to share with our audience, or just in general? It seems like it's going well. I know I really appreciate all the efforts that all of you, or each of you, have put in to make this process go as well as it has, to continue to learn what we might do differently, to help our staff grow, along with getting ready to utilize technology really as a game changer in the classroom, not just another way to put an overhead on the board, but really to integrate it into their teaching and learning, and the way kids learn, and make that a real true difference maker. But anything else that we haven't touched on that you think is valuable for the audience to know or learn about, or us to bring up?
Just that our team is here to support the students in this, and the teachers and parents as they move forward with this, because it's a challenge for parents too. And Karen has received numerous emails from parents that has been able to help them walk through things. And so just letting parents know too that we're here for them as well.
Absolutely. So if parents, students, staff have questions, they certainly can contact really any of you, and 99.9% of the time they're going to get a pretty quick response and answer to whatever's going on. So, okay. I really appreciate all 6 of you being here today, and everything that you've shared. And again, this is our technology team for the Marshall Public Schools. They do excellent work. We're in the midst of a 3-year plan where all of our students will either have their own device or have access to their own device. They shared a little bit about things that have gone well, as well as some things that have been challenges, but appreciate the work that they've done, and really looking forward to the future of technology in the Marshall Public Schools. So on behalf of everyone in our school district, I'm Scott Munson, and I appreciate you watching.